Hi, thank you for joining me. My name is Liz, and this is my movement channel, Movement with Liz. Today, we're going to do a Yin Yoga practice focusing on organ health. So, Yin Yoga has a deep connection to traditional Chinese medicine, and we use the theory behind traditional Chinese medicine, working with the meridian lines, which are like energetic rivers that flow through our system. So we have meridian lines that flow up the body, and we have meridian lines that flow down the body. And each one is connected to an organ. And then the shapes that we do in our Yin Yoga practice are connected to those meridian lines that are connected to our organs. There's also emotions that are attached to specific organs, which I will go through today as well in each shape. So you may notice that maybe some emotions do come up, maybe they don't, and that's okay. So just noticing it, you don't have to do anything about them. A lot of the time, if we are having stuff come up throughout the practice, it just wants to move through us. So allow yourself to breathe and just let it flow through you. So the Western world has kind of made you believe that your body is just a bag of meat, muscle, and bones and organs in between. But it's a lot deeper than that. So you think of when you feel emotions, you feel them within your body. It's generally a sensation within your body. And that can be really good for you, or it can be quite detrimental for you if you're continually feeling something like anger or something like depression or anxiety. It actually starts to affect the inner part of your body. The organ system that is related to that can often be affected, is often affected. So we can use this practice to start to release emotions that may be stuck in your body, and it can start to not only heal the tissue within your system, but also start to heal that organ. So if I haven't lost you there, I hope I haven't lost you there. I just invite you just to let go and just experience the practice if you haven't done Yin Yoga before. It's a very passive practice, and just being mindful that when we are holding shapes, that you're not going into any kind of pain, you're not forcing the body into a specific shape. You're allowing yourself to find a position that works best for you and go from there. So I'm using a bolster today just for one of the shapes. So if you've got a bolster, perfect. If not, grab some couch cushions or some bed pillows and just have them there ready for you to grab. So we're going to start just finding a connection to your breath. So you can sit up, you can lay down if that feels better. If you're sitting up, lengthening up through the spine. Let the shoulders relax back and down. You can close the eyes down if that feels okay. Otherwise, bringing the eyes into a soft gaze. And if you're laying down, just letting yourself relax, but staying awake and aware. And starting to breathe nice and smoothly in and out through the nose. So starting to bring your awareness into your body. So whatever time of day it is for you, whatever's been happening within your day, just allowing yourself to have this time. And if you can hear some snoring, that is my dog sitting on the couch next to me. And you may even have an intention that you'd like to set for the practice. So maybe there is something that you've been wanting to let go of. Maybe there's some anger or sadness, frustration. Maybe there's something that you're wanting to bring into your life. Setting that intention now if you wish. And if you're laying down, I'm going to get you just to start to move your body, coming back up to a seated position. And if you are seated, opening the eyes gently, taking a little bit of movement with the shoulders. Our first shape is going to be butterfly, and that relates to our urinary bladder and our kidneys. So we're going to bring the feet together. I'm just going to go from the side here. You might notice I've got socks on. It's winter here in Australia at the moment and it's a little bit chilly. So in our butterfly position, bottoms of the feet come together. You may need some support underneath your knees. If you do need that, just grabbing some pillows, or if you've got some yoga blocks, you can use them to support the knees. Option is you can stay lifted, staying up nice and tall, or you can start to fold the body forward. And with our yin practice, like I mentioned at the start, we are passive, as passive as we can be. You may need support underneath the forehead. If it feels okay for the neck and the spine, letting the upper body, just let that hang. Let the knees, let the lower body start to relax. So we're going to hold each shape for about 3 minutes. And as you hold, breathing nice and smoothly. So our urinary bladder, our kidneys, all about removing waste from our system. And the emotion that is related to that, if out of balance, is fear. Breathing smoothly. Start to pay attention to where you feel this in your body. So urinary bladder meridian line running down the back side of the body. And then the kidney meridian line running up through the inner thigh, up through the front side of the body. Keeping the rhythm of breath nice and smooth. You find at any time that your breathing becomes shallow or short or sharp, it's a sign that you've gone too far. So we always want to be just making sure that we can breathe nice and smoothly. So the opposite of fear would be courage. We can start to cultivate courage within us by maybe doing something that challenges us, stepping outside of our comfort zone. I'm going to take 3 more breaths. Once you've taken those 3 breaths, just slowly start to press yourself back up to a seated position. It may feel nice to reverse the curve through the spine, rolling the shoulders back. It can be nice sometimes to do a bit of a windshield wiper through the knees. Just doing whatever feels right for your body. So I mentioned earlier that we feel emotions, so we don't think them. We don't think we have anxiety, we feel it within our body. Or we don't think we have anger, we feel it within our body. Hello, Daisy. This is Daisy, everyone. She's a little bit cold herself, I think. We're going to move into our next shape, which is going to be a wide-legged forward fold. So the legs are going to come out wide. And just make sure on both sit bones, pointing the toes up towards the ceiling. You may need to bend the knees a little or maybe a lot. You can place some support underneath them if you need. This may be enough for you. So if you feel like you're getting enough sensation there through the inner thigh, you may even feel that around the outside of the hips, you can start to fold the upper body forward. So just going to gently walk the arms forward. Hello, Daisy. Oh, that's a good downward facing dog. So our focus with this shape is our liver and our gallbladder. And the meridian lines, the liver meridian line, again, running up through the inner part of our legs, coming up through the front side of the body. And the gallbladder line starts at the top, sort of at that corner of our eye here, and it runs down the top of the shoulder, down the outside of the body, down the outside of the legs, all the way down to the feet. So you may even feel a little bit of sensation there around the outside of the hips. I'm just going to start that timer. And the emotion that is related to the liver and the gallbladder lines is anger and frustration. I just want to be really clear as well that all of our emotions are healthy. It's completely normal to, at times, feel angry, to feel frustrated. It would be kind of a little bit weird if we didn't. It's when they take over and they start to become part of your personality. You might know someone and you think, oh, they're just an angry person. So something has happened somewhere along the line and they've let that take over who they are. And they possibly have some kind of issue with their liver. Maybe they drink a lot of alcohol. Maybe that's why they're angry. They may have some kind of issue with their gallbladder. So both play a role with our digestive system. And the liver plays a big role in detoxifying stuff from our system. And that stuff is what we ingest physically, mentally, emotionally, what we watch, what we read. It all has to go through our system. Breathing nice and smoothly. So the opposite of anger would be happiness. We can start to cultivate that within ourselves by doing things that make us happy. Take 3 more breaths. And slowly press yourself back up. Just take your time coming out of the shapes. You do not need to rush that at all. Slowly bending through the knees, doing whatever feels good. So it can be nice to shake the legs out. Again, maybe a windshield wiper. Our next shape will either be child's pose. So that is, knees are going to come wide, toes together, pressing the hips back, reaching the arms out in front, resting the forehead down to the floor, or coming into melting heart. So the target organs that we are going for with this shape is our heart and our small intestines. So if you're coming into melting heart, bringing the knees about hip distance apart, and you want to keep the hips over the knees. Walk the hands out in front and then dropping the chest down towards the floor. This is quite an intense shape. You can rest the forehead down, or if it feels okay for the neck, rest the chin down. So you're kind of aiming to get the chest down. You're going to get a nice opening there underneath the shoulders. So the heart, the small intestines, and if out of balance, there's a feeling of a loss of joy. So the heart and the small intestine meridian lines are related to our spirit, our Shen, our fire, that drive for life, that drive for joy. So targeting that with this shape, either the child's pose or the melting heart. And then we can start to do things in our life that bring us joy. Kind of light that little fire in your belly. Things that build determination within you. Breathing nice and smoothly. So by holding these shapes, we start to allow more energy, more flow to come into our system. can start to unblock any blockages within these meridian lines, these energetic rivers that flow through our body. Take 3 more breaths. And then very slowly start to press yourself out. Take any kind of movement that you feel you need. Can be quite an intense position to hold for time. And our next shape is going to be saddle. So this is where I'm going to be using my bolster. And I'm going to give you a different option as well, just if it feels a little bit too much to have both knees bent. So using the bolster, I'm going to sit just in front of it with my hips. Both knees are bent, ankles are just outside the thighs. I'm going to start to very slowly roll myself back. Now you may find that just coming to somewhere like here is enough. We're looking for some kind of tension through the front of our thighs. If you can lay all the way back, feel free. You can also have one leg out and then start to find a position from there, and I'll let you know halfway when you can swap sides. So the focus with this is our stomach and our spleen, and both lines, one coming up through the front side of the body and one running down through the front side of the body. So let's lay back. So the stomach line coming up, the spleen line going down. So again, both digestive organs. The spleen has a lot to do with our immune system. It's one of our lymphatic organs. So whatever position you've taken, finding that spot that allows you to relax into it. You can still breathe nice and smoothly. You can feel sensation within the body. It's not too strong. It's also not too soft either. So if you can't feel anything, I invite you to go just a little bit deeper. And then if you were sitting with one leg, slowly start to come out and swap sides. If you are using a bolster and maybe you feel like you can come all the way down to the floor, slowly remove the bolster and then making your way down. And just relaxing as much as you can. So the stomach and spleen, when out of balance, related to anxiety and worry. So you know that when you feel that anxious feeling or that worry, you sometimes feel that in the pit of your stomach. It might feel like butterflies. So we all have times when we're worried, we all have times where we feel anxious. And a nice little exercise that you can do is just stop and take a moment and ask yourself, firstly, is what you're worrying about true? Is what you're anxious about true? Or are you making up a story in your mind about something you think may happen? And is that serving you? Is that serving your highest good? Take 3 more breaths. And then whatever position you've taken, very slowly start to press yourself back up. And then taking any kind of movement that feels good. Sometimes even a plank feels nice after doing saddle, and then somehow eases off the tension through the front of the thighs. But doing just whatever feels right for you. So we have one more shape to do on either side, focusing on our lungs and our large intestines. So sitting up nice and tall. I'm sitting on my bolster. You can sit flat on your butt. You can even sit in a kneeling position if that feels more comfortable, or even in a chair. So we're going to be doing eagle arms. So firstly, we're going to cross the right arm underneath and the left arm on top. And then it's up to you. This depends on how this feels for your wrists, for your shoulders, and just the mobility that you have in your body. So it might feel better for you just to kind of come into a position like that, or you can kind of flip it around. I can't come all the way and keep it flat. That's just kind of how it is with my body. So finding the position that works best for you there, and then lifting the elbows up. So from here, it looks like that. And we're getting a nice sort of stretch there through the back of the shoulders. And then also getting into our lung and meridian lines that come through the front side of our body, down our arms. We're going to hold here, we're going to breathe. We've got 3 minutes on either side. So there's definitely a challenging aspect to our Yin Yoga practice. It's not always nice and relaxing. It can be quite a challenge to hold the shapes. But always coming back to the principle of, can I breathe properly? Am I still breathing smoothly? If that's gone, knowing that you've gone too far. So it's not about going to your max. We find our edge, we stay. Maybe that edge increases as we hold, maybe it doesn't. About 1 minute left in the shape. Just remind yourself that we're not here forever. Take about 3 more breaths. And then very slowly start to unwind your arms. Maybe take a little roll through the shoulders. And then what we do to one side, we do to the other. All right, so this time, left arm comes underneath, right arm comes on top. Might feel really different to this side, to the other side. It may even have to look different. So one thing with Yin Yoga is you have to learn to negotiate with yourself and kind of go, okay, this is how it is on this side. That's okay. Work with it, not against it. I'm going to start the timer. So I wouldn't usually have a phone with me while I was doing yoga. It's just to have the timer there. So finding that position that allows you to relax, but there's also some sensation that allows you to breathe smoothly. Breathing nice and smoothly and deeply, getting the oxygen into your system. Our lungs and our large intestines are related to grief. Grief and depression. So again, there's going to be times in your life where you feel grief. There's going to be times in your life when you feel depressed. It's when we let those feelings take over that we find ourselves stuck. So sometimes we need to take a look at things, and sometimes we have to deal with things and face things that can be quite uncomfortable. And just like holding some shapes that can be quite uncomfortable, we realize that we can do it, that we are capable. Take about 3 more breaths. And slowly unwind the arms. Just take a little moment, maybe roll the shoulders. We're going to make our way down onto our backs into our final resting position. If you need support underneath the knees, putting a bolster or pillows or even 2 blocks underneath. Laying back. If you need to find some warmth, find some warmth. We won't be here for too long. Just allowing yourself to rest down into the ground. Take a few more breaths. And start to move the body. Maybe wriggle the fingers, wriggle the toes, circle out the ankles and the wrists. And then rolling to one side for a moment. And making your way up to a seated position. And just take a moment, sitting up nice and tall, checking in with your body, how you feel now after the practice. You might feel kind of energy moving through your system. You might feel lighter. Maybe you feel like there's been tension released. Thank you very much for joining me. If you would love to know more about the Yin Yoga practice and the meridian lines, the organs, the emotions that are connected to it, there's also elements that are connected to it as well, which can all come together, and you can really create quite a therapeutic practice to heal your body from the inside out with Yin Yoga. If you would like to know more, please reach out and ask. I'd love to share more of this practice with you. Thank you.